Okay, everyone, I am back for another recipe today. This recipe is going to start out a little bit different than the other ones. Usually I have the camera on the other side coming towards me, and that's not going to happen today because there's a lot going on here today. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a short video just because that's the way it's going to be, I guess. So today, if you didn't already guess, by the title, I guess. Today I'm going to show you how I make sauce and meatballs. Okay, I've been making it like this for a very, very long time. I'm going to go through some of the ingredients here. I want to apologize too if there's any camera shake, only because I don't have my tripod. I just have a selfie stick basically that I'm doing this part with. Okay, so if there's any shaking, I apologize. We'll get to the gimbal and we'll get to the tripod as soon as I go through these ingredients. All right. So here we go with the ingredients. Okay. Let's just. I tried to separate this meatballs on one side, which would be over here, and I did the sauce ingredients for the most part of it over there. Okay, so here's what we got going on. Okay, so today I'm going to make sauce and meatballs and sausage. It's going to be a big pot. Now, don't worry about the ingredients as far as what I'm using here. Okay, because when you guys look down in the description, I am going to turn around and I'm going to break this down for you guys. So if you wanted to make, a smaller batch or break it into a quarter. Now I use, this much stuff because I make this once a year. And it lasts me pretty much all year. And off of this, I'll be making like a lasagna. I'll be doing a baked ziti, and a lot of that stuff I freeze, and I freeze for the year. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not good if you freeze it. It's very good, trust me. It's all in how you freeze it. Maybe I'll show you guys that. Okay, so let's get on with this video. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of babbling, so just hang in there until the end of the video. Hopefully you guys do that. Okay, so basically what we got over here, we stopped at the butcher's yesterday, and we got 10 pounds of sausage. Now, I'm not cooking all this. I just didn't want to separate it right now because it took me a while to set this up this morning. So I have 10 pounds of sausage. I have 3/4 of a pound of hot sausage, and I have up here, you can see the difference in color. I got some sweet sausage up there. I also have 10 pounds of 80/20. I do my meatballs with 80/20. I don't veer from that. This is what I use. And over here, we have some fresh parsley. Now, I chopped all this morning. Over here, we have about 3/4 of a pound of Parmesan cheese. Again, don't quote me on all these until I put the recipe actually in the description. Okay, that is also fresh grated. The better the ingredients, the better that this is going to come out. Okay. Over here, I have 5 eggs. I got an extra egg in there. I'm going to do 4 pounds of meatballs, but that's going to be, that's going to come out to be more than 4 pounds by the time I add everything into it. So I'm estimating that I'm probably going to roll somewhere around 60 to 70 meatballs, whatever. Not like my grandmother used to roll 400 or 500 at a clip. Okay, and over here I have a ton of fresh chopped, minced garlic. Actually, you can see how minced that really is. Okay, not going to use it all. There's 10 cloves there. I'm probably not going to use it all, but I didn't want to stop the video, go chop more, so on and so forth. I like all my prep out of the way. Okay, over here I have some Italian bread. Okay, now this bread I bought from a local bakery where I live around. It's a place called Bellinopoli. Swear by it. You see it in my other recipes. You guys know I'm real faithful to this. Been buying this stuff, since I was a kid. I've been going to that place since I was a child. So what I did here, I'll put a picture up on the corner of the screen too as I'm talking, is I bought this bread 3 days ago. Okay, I let it sit in the bag. I put it in a brown bag. I just left it, basically on a countertop. I left it on my bar just to get stale. Okay, so you want your bread to become, listen, okay, it's stale. It just cracks, okay? And I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So I have 2 loaves of Italian bread. I didn't weigh this out, but their Italian bread comes 1 pound per loaf, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put this under water, and we're going to soak this bread. We're going to squeeze it out and add it in with the rest of the ingredients. I know a lot of talking here. I get it, but I just want to make sure I explain that to you. It's very important to use Italian bread. Don't use French bread. Your meatballs are going to come out much differently. Okay, on to the sauce. Okay, I have a little bit of fresh, that's not fresh actually. It's red pepper flake here, about, you know, a quarter of a teaspoon. Just a little bit for the sauce, depending on the acidity of the sauce. We'll check it out with this. We'll throw some in for some spice if the sausage doesn't give me what I'm looking for. Okay, over here I have some chopped garlic as well. That's just for the sauce. I have some fresh basil over here with a couple of bay leaves. I have some fresh grated. Now, this is Lacatelli cheese. Okay, this is a sheep's milk cheese. So that's what I use to put into the sauce. Now, maybe some of you guys are raising your eyebrows so far. 1, with the ingredients, 2, what I do with them. All right, so that is sheep's milk cheese. I do that, and I do Parmesan cheese in the sauce as well. Gives it a great flavor. My grandmother always did it. We're not veering off of her recipe. This is what I've always done. All right. Over here we got a little bit of salt and pepper. We got a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. We got a little bit of olive oil right here. We're going to fry the meatballs in olive oil. And then back here I have some chopped onion. That is also for the sauce. Now, obviously, there's going to be an explanation to this. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. You guys are patient with me. Love what you guys are doing on my channel. Getting great views. Love where it's at so far. So thank everybody that, you know, tunes into this. So on to the sauce. Now, you can use whatever you want to. I personally like the San Marzano tomatoes. Okay, you see me use it in other recipes. You can use La Valley tomatoes as well. Now, you see here that it says DOP. Okay, there's a reason why that is up there. Okay, because these tomatoes are they're right from Italy. They're grown in a particular part of Italy with so much sunlight each day. The soil is a particular way, and it actually gives you, I don't know if I could turn this around. Let me see. Okay, so right here, if you ever wondered that if you're actually using true, authentic San Marzano tomatoes, here's how you find out. Okay, it's always going to have this seal on it right here. Okay, it's always going to have that. That's the DOP label. And this is the number. It's an authenticity number that these are canned by. All right, so they're the 2 things. This is what we got today. These are restaurant, there we go. They're restaurant size cans of tomatoes. Okay, again, good ingredients. These here you can get at, if you have like a little Italian store or something around you, they will probably sell these. These go for $12.59 a can. They're 90 ounces. Okay, so if you're used to using the smaller cans of 28 ounce, these are about 3 cans to the 128 ounce can, obviously, if you do the math. Okay, so that's about all I got to say right now. Like I haven't said enough. So there's the ingredients: sauce, meatballs, sausage. It's on its way. We're going to get going with this recipe right now. Okay, so now we're on with the tomatoes, okay? I don't know, let's see if you guys can see these. These tomatoes in this can are absolutely beautiful, all right? We'll talk a little bit about the tomatoes as I sit here and do what I got to do. Okay, so right here, we just got a glass bowl. I'm not going to pour these in. What I am going to do is I'm just going to take them by hand. Look at how gorgeous they are. And these smell, you could taste a big difference. I can't explain how how these taste. And if you've never had an actual DOP tomato, I urge you to at least try it once. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. Okay, we're squeezing these tomatoes. I know it might be a little time consuming opposed to what maybe some of y'all are used to, and you don't have to use this. You use whatever you want. Okay, I do have an extra can of these standing by, so I bought a total of 3 cans, and we'll see how much that this makes. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish doing these, and as soon as I'm done doing this, if you're wondering why I keep putting my hand over to my left, I'm just in the top of the tomato. Sometimes there's a little where it hangs on the vine right there. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but you can feel it with your finger. Sometimes it gets a little hard. I don't like that in my sauce. That's just me, so I take that little piece and I throw it away, and that's what I'm doing, is just putting it over by the garbage disposal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish squeezing this can. This is all we're doing, and I'll be back with you guys as soon as we start doing the sauce. We're going to start doing the sauce first, and then I'm going to show you guys how I do my meatballs. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze these 2 cans. That didn't really sound too good, did it? Anyways, I'm going to squeeze these 2 cans, and then we're going to get on with the sauce. Okay, I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so I am almost done squeezing these tomatoes. Now, it just does take a little bit of time, but, it's worth it. Good food takes time. This is, I gotta say, this is really good food here. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, how red this sauce is, but this sauce is, and it smells like, it almost is like you can just take a spoon and eat this right now. That's the difference between these tomatoes and, maybe something like a Tudoroso or a Hunt's or something like that. Plus you get to play with your food, right? You get to play with your tomatoes. All right, so the tomatoes are all broken up now, and then there's just a little bit of liquid in here. So we just take it, we do all this by hand. Okay, just like that. Okay, and this now is going to obviously become our tomato sauce. I have 2 of these bowls. I opened up 2 cans. I'm going to get the sauce going, see if that's going to be enough. I think it's going to be, but if not, I'll open up another can, and we'll just do another can up. But listen, use any tomato you want to. It's totally fine. You don't have to use these. This is kind of like a treat, because you'll be able to tell the difference between these tomatoes and a tomato that's just maybe not from Italy, maybe not DOP. It's nice that these tomatoes are regulated on how they're actually grown. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description below. This way you guys can click on that video as well, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a lot to explain. I don't want to take up much time in my video. Okay, so we're going to be on with the next step. I'm just going to get washed up, and then we're going to start put some olive oil in the pot and some garlic onions. We're going to get this going, and then we'll be on with the meatballs. Okay, hang in there. We'll be back in a second. Okay, so I'm back. What we're going to do is we're just going to add like a medium heat here. We're going to put in some olive oil, enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Okay, because we're gonna saute some. We're going to start with put a little oil in. And this varies on pan, right? So in the recipe, in the description below, I may not have a actual how much of olive oil that you put in this pan, okay? But it's usually enough, however much that you get. I'm sorry, I was doing something else here. You usually, if you coat the bottom of the pan, usually that's what you want. I probably used a quarter of a cup of olive oil. Maybe I'll put a quarter of a cup and then maybe something in parentheses after that. Okay, we're going to wait for this to heat up a little bit because we just did it. I got my 2 bowls of sauce over here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you? Yep, you can. I got my 2 bowls of sauce over there that are already squeezed. And we're going to get going with the onions, and then my house is going to smell real good today. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so our oil's hot. We're going to just dump in some chopped onions. Now, you can also, sorry about that. You can also slice your onions too. You don't have to chop them like this. Okay, it's up to you. It's how you like it. It's how you like it in your sauce. Okay, so you could chop it like I do, or you could slice it. And I've done it both ways. It just depends on the mood on the day, I guess. And this is the mood today, is chopped onion. All right, so we're gonna sweat this down. We're gonna let this go for a little bit. I know it looks like a lot of onion, but once it sweats itself down, it won't appear to be that much. This is about one, I'm gonna say it's like 1 large onion that I got, medium to large onion. We'll write that in the description as well. Okay, I'm gonna let this saute down for a few minutes. We're gonna throw the garlic in. Yeah, that's the next step. All right, so the onions have been sauteing for probably about 6-7 minutes. Usually when I turn around and I add the next ingredient is when you can just about see just a little bit of color. And I mean just a little bit, so you got to keep your eye on it. You see just an onion getting a little bit brown on the end. Then I add my next ingredient. Okay, so here we go. We're going to add in our chopped garlic. Okay, remember, don't overcook the garlic unless you like it that way. That's not something that I'm a fan of, so that's just the way I make it, but it doesn't make it right or wrong. You can cook that down any way you want to. You add your chopped in garlic there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add literally just a pinch of red pepper flake. Not much right now because I want to see how this is going to come. Now, also keep in mind, I'm going to babble here for a second so you guys can understand what I'm saying. You have to understand that when you buy different tomatoes, not all tomatoes are going to be the same. Okay? Even when you buy, sorry about that, even when you buy San Marzano tomatoes, DOP tomatoes, they're not always going to be the same. They're going to be close, but they're not going to be the same. So you have to remember that the acidity in these tomatoes, or any canned tomato, I don't care if you buy the cheapest thing on the market or you buy the most expensive thing on the market, either or, it's very difficult to get the same tomato every single time, right? So having said that, the ingredients in your sauce are going to change, okay? So when I write this recipe for you guys, this is going to be like a ballpark of what you're going to need to do this recipe. Okay, so when you all do your recipe, you know, don't say something like, you know, oh, that was terrible, or whatever. It could be the acidity in the tomatoes. It could be that you didn't cook the tomatoes down long enough. It could be, you know, how old the can is, you know, like if there was something outdated, you didn't realize it. So just, you know, be mindful of all the ingredients that you're using. That's why I say the better the ingredients, the better your sauce is going to come out. Same thing with your meatballs. Okay, so when you can start smelling this garlic and it gets fragrant, this is done. Okay, then we're going to go on to the next step. I do not like my garlic brown because it sends off, and you hear me say it in all my videos, I sound like a broken record, so I apologize for that. It sends off a very bitter taste called Allison, and I do not like that. So, but if you like your garlic cooked like that, by all means, have at that and do what you need to do. Okay, I'm going to let this saute down just until I smell the garlic, and then I'm going to be right back with you guys. All right, so I gave this about 5 minutes to cook the garlic down. You can see that the onions are also getting a little bit brown around the edges. Nothing wrong with that. It's all about timing here, right? You don't want your onions overcooked, but you want your garlic cooked at the same time. That's why we added it in sections. Okay, so that's about that. What we're going to do now is we are actually going to just take our beautiful sauce, and we're just going to dump that right in. Now what that's going to do is that is actually going to stop the cooking process for the onions and the garlic. You hear it just simmered right down. There's nothing going on now, right? Okay, so, and we're going to dump in the other bowl as well, just like that. Okay. I'm going to stir this up a little bit. Okay, now I am going to turn around. I am going to squeeze that other container. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this exactly where this is. And then I'll be back to show you. I'm just going to squeeze the other can of tomatoes really quick. We're going to dump those in because I do think I need a little bit more sauce for this. And then we're going to add the other ingredients. And then we're going to move along. Okay, so we're going to keep the heat on medium. A little bit less than medium, I guess. Hey, just so you guys know too, if you cook this in a stainless steel pot like this is, okay, these pots get really hot. So if you're simmering something, or you're just trying to boil something, or you're trying to just do something as a simmer, remember, these get hotter than a non-stick pan as far as how quick it gets hot. So you might want to back your temperature down just a little bit, just so it comes up nice and even. Then when you get your simmer, your oil, bubbling a little bit, then you can adjust it from there. Don't hit these with a lot of heat. These pots are tough if you don't know how to cook with them. Okay, just a little tip there. Figured I don't want you guys ruining your dinner. All right, so we're going to move on in just a second. So what I just got done doing is I just got done adding a half a can of water to this. Okay, and it's hard to say, the consistency. It's more of the drag on the spoon, right? Yeah, I've been doing this for so long. It's just, or making this for so long, that you just automatically understand. People that don't make it, you wouldn't expect to know. That's why I'm here to try to teach and be as thorough as we can. Okay, so at this point now, what we're going to do, we're going to still do a medium heat. You don't want this to burn. If this starts burning, it's going to ruin your whole batch of sauce. Not only are you only going to be out your dinner and whatever meals you're going to prepare with this later on, but you're going to be out a lot of money. It's a lot of money to make this. But if you make like a single batch, it's it is what it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm using a measuring cup just for recipe purposes. Usually I just put handfuls of cheese in. So this is the sheep's milk cheese. This is the Lacatelli cheese. I'll put this down in the description already. We're going to do half cups at a time. Okay, so we'll start out with a half a cup like that. We're going to put in a pinch of salt. Now I know I'm going to need more salt afterwards, but we're going to just let this get rolling, and we're going to put in a pinch of pepper. Okay, we're going to throw in, I don't know, like, we're going to throw in like two, 3 bay leaves. We're going to throw in a couple of fresh basil. Oh, gotta love that, right? Okay, yeah, just like that. And we're going to mix this up, and I'm going to see what it looks like once I mix it up. Again, it's one of those things where once it's mixed, you know it. You know exactly what it's supposed to look like. Same thing with the meatballs. The meatballs are, well, which is going to come up just here in a second. The meatballs are the same thing, right? Okay. Hold on to that. Look at that for a minute. I gotta grab some oregano. Okay, and we're just gonna put probably just maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of oregano. We're going to mix this up, okay? And then we're going to spin around where my other ingredients are. And we're going to take some of the Parmesan cheese now. All right, we're going to put some Parmesan cheese in it as well. Okay, we're going to stir this up. So we got 2 cheeses in here. We got the Locatelli cheese, the sheep's milk cheese, and we got some Parmesan cheese in this. And we're going to mix it really, really good. And then we're going to bring this to a little bit of a boil. Bring this up slow. I'm telling you, don't burn this. Bring it up nice and slow. It's worth the time to wait on this, okay? All right, I'm going to bring this up to a boil. We're going to see where we're at with that. And in the meantime, I'm going to get going on the meatballs. So hang in with me. It's going to be a little bit of a video here. I apologize, but you're going to have some good food at the end of it. Okay, on to the meatballs. All right, so now that I got the sauce settled, basically, what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding our sausage. We're going to do, I don't know, you might do like 4 or 5. We'll do 6 sweet, right? Again, it's all, and we'll do some hot. I'll do like 8, 9 hot. Okay, so we'll get this going as the sauce is cooking. Probably ain't gonna have enough room for all this in this one, but that's all right. We'll do a double. We don't mind. This is what the day is consisted of for me, this here. Okay, very good. So we're going to cook the sausage, right? This is ready over here. We got the sauce going there. We got the sausage going here. I'm going to take you on the other side. We're going to start up the meatballs. We're going to let this cook down nice. We're going to get it nice and brown. I'm not going to add water to the pan. I know I did a recipe for sausage and peppers where I added water to the pan. I steamed them in that recipe. You can go back and look at that if you want to. Killer recipe for sausage and peppers. A lot of caramelization, excellent flavor, excellent taste. You can check that one out if you'd like to too. But we're not going to do that. We're going to cook these low and slow. We're going to get some marks on them. We're going to caramelize these. Remember, caramelization is flavor. That's what we're going for. Then we're going to take these. We're going to put most of these in the sauce. The meatballs are going in the sauce, right? Okay, you can see where this is going to, right? All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're gonna cook these a little bit slow. All right, so we're back with the sausage, and the sausage is done. About 25 minutes to cook this. So you can see they're nice and golden brown. So we're going to pull these. We're going to put these. Look, gorgeous, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put these in the bowl over here, and then these later on are going to go in the sauce, and they're going to cook down a little bit more in the sauce, and the sauce is going to make them really nice. Okay, guys, I'm going to take you guys over. We're going to start the meatballs right now. So here we go with the other part of this recipe. Now we are on to making the meatballs. All right. Some of you guys thought that it was weird having stale Italian bread. Now is where I'm going to show you. And this is stale. Okay. So I explained to you what I did with that before in the beginning of the video. So we're going to just continue with what we got going on here. Okay. I've got 4 pounds of 80/20. Okay. So out of that 10-pound bag, I took out 4 pounds, and then I'll do something different with the other 6 pounds. Either freezer wrap it or just do something with it. Anyways, got 4 pounds of 80/20. I always use 80/20. Now the bread, what we're going to do is, I got a bowl of water here, okay? And the only thing that we're going to do is we're going to soak the bread just for a couple seconds, okay? Just until it becomes a little bit pliable. As soon as it becomes pliable, we're just going to take it and we're just going to wring it out like a sponge, just like that, right? And then we're just going to take it and we're going to break it up, just like this. That's all we're going to do, okay? This is going to do a couple of things. This is going to add some moisture to the meatballs, because I don't believe meatballs should be dry. And two, it's going to leave the meatball kind of pliable, right? Just my whole thing with meatballs, this is the way my grandmother used to make it. So like I said in the beginning, I really don't play with that much because there's really nothing left, of the way my grandmother used to do things. So every time I make this, I always try to, kind of do it the way she did it. Okay, and by having the bread stale, it's easier to break up. Okay, so that's all you do. You just pull it apart, you break it up, you pull it apart like this. Now, like I explained to you guys before, it's very, very difficult to let you know exactly like the moisture content. Like, you're not squeezing all of the water out, but you're squeezing probably probably 90% of the water out, I would say. And there's no set way of saying, hey, you need this much, right? Because this is, I hate to say it like this, and I have said it in my other videos, and it kind of makes Italian people look like we're, I don't know, whatever we are. But we don't measure, right? That's the thing. We don't measure. So that's the difficult part for us Italians. We don't measure. Yeah. So when we do recipes and we do stuff like this, it's very hard to say, yeah, you got to add this, you got to add that, blah, blah, blah. It's hard. So what I did for this recipe, I'm going to try to do it the best I can, because usually when I do meatballs, I go by the way it looks and I go by the way it smells before it's cooked. Okay. That's just the way I do it. So it's hard anyways. But what I will do is I weighed out all the bread before I started doing this, and it came out to 2 pounds of bread. So I can weigh it back out afterwards. And again, this recipe is going to be for 4 pounds. Okay, so if you want to do 2 pounds or whatever, you cut the recipe in half. It's pretty simple. You want to do 1 pound of meatballs, you do it, that's what you do. You just keep deducting, I guess. So I'm going to continue to do this, and then we're going to add some cheese, some garlic, some parsley, some eggs, some salt and pepper, and we're going to get this going. So this is how you do it. You just break it up little pieces. You got, you don't want them too big, right? You want them, like that. And you see, when you start mixing this up, that's going to break down even more. So you don't have to worry about it. If you have a little bit of a piece that's in there, I personally like to have a little piece of bread in my meatball. I'm also another person that does not believe that a meatball should be hard, right? It shouldn't bite into, like a hamburger is what I'm trying to say. If you made a hamburger, I don't believe meatballs should be like that. I believe that they should be meaty, obviously, but then I believe that they should be a little on the softer side. Okay, that's just me. That's how I make it. That's what I do. Okay, enough of the babbling and enough of the tips, because I really don't have any more right now until I get on to the next stage. We're gonna add in some more bread. We're gonna get this going. Crack some eggs. I'll bring you back when I speed this up a little bit. This is the time-consuming part. I'm done doing the bread. I used about 1 pound of bread in here. Okay, and basically what I did is I just put enough on the top so you could still see the ground beef in the middle. Okay, pretty simple there. Now we're going to go on to, we're just going to crack open some eggs now at this point. Okay. Yeah, I guess basic rule of thumb is every pound of meat, 1 egg. So we're gonna throw 4 eggs in here. Okay. And that's just a start. All this is just a start, because it's like anything else. It's like if you turn around and you buy some ground beef from your butcher and say the mix isn't perfect, right? Like the 80-20 is off. There's more fat, less fat, so on and so forth. Then it's going to throw the whole consistency of this off, right? Because you're planning on that fat being there. So from time to time, the mix may be different, and that's up for you guys to actually make that adjustment on your own. You always hope that everything is right the first time, but it doesn't always happen. It's life, right? Okay, so we have some garlic here. I have 10 cloves here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got to do it like this. I can't measure this, but I'll get you a measurement at the end for this. I just do this, right? Because I get a good idea. So if that was any indication, that's somewhere around 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. That's what that was. Again, you don't really measure this. Same thing with parsley. I'm gonna do, I don't know, that's probably 2 tablespoons. So let's throw 2 tablespoons in, and I know I'm gonna need more than that. So we're gonna add a little bit more like that, and then give me 1 second to rinse my hands off. Okay, perfect. All right, now what we're gonna do is I will use a measuring cup for this part. Now comes your Parmesan cheese. Like I said, I grated this freshly. This is a 1/2 cup. So we're just gonna do this. Yeah, see, we're gonna need more, so we're at least a cup in for this. Okay, so we're gonna start with that. We're gonna add a pinch of salt, maybe 2 little pinches of salt, and we're gonna add just a pinch of pepper. Okay, and that's it. That's our meatballs, right? So we're just going to now just incorporate all this, okay? And you're going to mix, and you're going to mix, and you're going to mix, and you're going to mix. And that's the way this is done, obviously. Meatballs aren't we're not launching the shuttle to the moon here, right? We're making food. But you'll see as this incorporates, you'll see what the bread does. And that's the neat thing about using stale Italian bread. You can actually see it do what it does. And it's easier to do it like you do it in a big pan like this, right? It's easy. Don't try to do it in a small pan, because it'll go all over the place. Like it's doing with me here, right? Okay, so we're gonna keep mixing it. People say, don't over mix your meatballs. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. You do whatever it takes to get your food out, right? They say it can become hard and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you that because you have moist bread in this, that it's not going to become hard. Now, if you use, on the other hand, sorry about all this noise. That's why I hate using these pans, but I like them because they're big. If you use breadcrumbs, you're going to get a tight meatball. I don't think there's any way around that. I've ran some, I don't know, I guess so-called tests or whatever you want to call them. I've done them both ways for, on different occasions, just to see what the difference would be, right? And breadcrumbs always come out tight. So if you like that tight, meaty meatball, breadcrumbs is the way to go. 86 to bread, don't worry about it. But I bet you that if you turn around and make this like this, I bet you're going to love these, hands down. Now, before anybody says, and I hope that when people make comments, which I like good comments, I like bad comments, it doesn't matter to me. But before the meatball police come after me about this and says, well, I don't do that, and I would have done this, and, you know, my grandmother did this, and my mom makes it like this. Before you guys say anything to me, watch the whole videos, watch all the whole video that I do, because I say things throughout the video, and then people comment on it and kind of knock something down, which I don't care. But I just, you know, want to say that because sometimes there's no, I already answered the question for you guys. So this is how my meatballs take place, right? And I tell just by the smell of it, right? Now you can see all the white. My camera's like freaking out today. I don't know why, but you can see how it's not real meaty, right? It's kind of like white, and see what the bread did? You don't get chunks of bread. I mean, every now and then you do, which I personally love that. I think that's what makes a meatball. So yeah, anyways, this is how I make the meatballs, and now we're ready to roll. So yeah, you guys want to leave a comment, I think that's great. What I was going to say real quick is, before the meatball police come after me, you can absolutely do a third, and third, or a half, and then you know, a veal, pork, and beef. Okay, these are just 80/20s. This is how, you know, and I've made them, you know, I've made them the other way as well. But today, this is how I'm making these. Now, you can see the consistency of this, right? They're a little bit soft. These are going to fry up. I'm going to fry these up in olive oil. These are going to fry up fantastic. Okay, so yes, you can use beef, pork, and veal. Absolutely. This is just one of the many ways that you can make a meatball. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit cleaned up here, and I'm going to see if I need to add anything. I don't think I do. I think it smells good. Maybe just a little bit more Parmesan cheese in this. We'll give it a quick mix, and then we're going to start rolling these and getting these in the olive oil and fry these up. Okay, so meatballs are all rolled. Out of the 4 pounds, I wound up getting exactly 50 meatballs out of this. Let me just walk over here. I just want to do something just for the hell of it. Let's see what they weighed as. I'm just gonna, they're all about the same, so I'm just gonna take one meatball. I'm gonna throw it on the scale. They're about 2.5 ounces a piece. So you're gonna get 50 meatballs at 2.5 ounces roughly, and that's what you're gonna get. Okay, so we're gonna take these over to the olive oil that's already hot in a cast iron skillet. We're going to get these things frying up. You can bake them. Again, it's one of those things, you just do it however you want to do it. I like to fry my meatballs. That's the way my grandmother, I remember my grandmother doing it that way. So I've always continued with how she does it. Cast iron skillet. We're ready to drop these meatballs in. We're going to cook these until just that sound brings back memories, right? With my grandparents, my mom. Anytime I went to a relative's house, my aunts, this is what it smelled like. Okay, anyways, so 2.5 ounces, 2.4 ounces for the meatballs. They're a good sized meatball. Roll them smaller if you want to. It's totally up to you. You do it any way you want. Sauce over here, right next to the meatballs here, is doing very good. We're going to start adding some sausage to that, so that could get nice and tender. And we're gonna fry these up now. I fry these until they get a little bit crispy on the outside. Okay, So that's how I do it. That's how I like them. You don't like them crispy, don't make them crispy. That's all. Right? So this is it right here. We're not going to overcrowd the pan, put too many in and piggyback them, because it also brings the temperature of the oil down. Okay, so we got probably about 3-4 batches here that we're going to fry up. We're going to put them in a separate bowl, and then we're going to dump them in the sauce. But when they come out of this oil, they're going to be fully cooked. So you can break one in half, test it, eat them, do whatever you want to do. Dunk it in the sauce with some bread. But they're going to be fully cooked. I don't cook my meatballs in my sauce. They're fully cooked when they leave here. Okay, I'll see you guys as soon as this is done to show you exactly how I do it. Okay, so I just wanted to pop in. I just wanted to show you exactly what I mean by what the color is that I like them on the back side, right? This is the color that you're going for, or that I'm going for. And then we're going to do this to the meatball all the way around. Okay, so medium low heat. Take your time with these. Don't ruin them. Make them nice, just like that. That's perfect. Couldn't get any more spot on. All right, I think my grandparents would be proud of these. All right, that's it. So I'll see you guys after I get done frying all these meatballs, and we'll take the next step after that. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. I know it's long. I know it's probably going to be a little bit on the longer side. It's just a great meal. I could be doing this all day long. All right, so I am on the last batch of meatballs, and these are done. This is how I fry them too. Okay, just like that. They're gorgeous, and I already sampled one too, and they're fantastic. So the meatballs are done. We're going to put these aside, and we're going to get ready. We're going to adjust the sauce at this time, and then we're going to drop the meatballs in the sauce with some of the sausage to get it nice and tender, because believe it or not, when you put your sausage in, depends on the casings that your butcher uses too, right? The butcher that I go to, there's really not much need to get the casings really soft, because I mean, there's just not. I've never had a problem with it. But if you bought some stuff at not a local butcher, and you bought something at like a local grocery store or something like that, sometimes the casings can be a little tough. You drop those in the sauce, let them simmer with the sauce just like the meatballs to get the flavor, and it'll be tender. You don't even, there's no knife included, right? You know, there's no knife needed. So okay, so that's what we're going to do next. Meatballs are finished, and we're going to kill the heat on this, and then we're going to go over to the sauce, make some adjustments, season it, because I only put a little salt and pepper in that you've seen before. So we're going to season it up a little bit, maybe put some more Parmesan cheese in it, some lacatelli cheese, and take it from there. Now there is one little thing that I do, is I do take 1 or 2 little spoonfuls of this grease from the meatballs, and I do put that in the sauce. I don't know how many of you guys do that, but I know my family does it all the time. That's just par for the course. So let me head over to this pot of sauce, and we'll make some adjustments. So we're back over to the sauce. The meatballs just got done. Like I said, what I'm going to do is we do this all the time. I remember my grandmother doing this when I was a kid. We're going to take, I know you can't see it, it is off camera, but we're going to take just a spoonful of the grease that the meatballs were frying in, and we're just going to add that to the sauce, just like that. This isn't no big deal here, right? All we're doing is we're trying to add a little flavor to it, and it does. So we'll mix this in. This sauce has been simmering for about good 4 hours now. Okay, so it's cooking down. I want to explain, in case you were wondering why I don't do something specific here. Now, I explained this in another video that I did. I actually forgot what video it was, but it's where I did a quick marinara sauce, and this ring on the pot. A lot of times people say, why don't you, where am I? I'm over here. Yeah. why don't you erase that ring? That ring tells me something, and what that tells me is how far down and how much water that I've actually distilled off this batch of sauce. Okay, so if tomorrow you want to like recook this again, you know, you could fill it up to the sauce line and then you can distill it again. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're drawing moisture off this. Doesn't matter what you're drawing water or moisture off of. That's what you're doing. You're distilling it. So that's why we leave that ring of sauce. It does not give a burnt taste to the sauce by any stretch of the imagination. It's only there for a guide, okay? Now, once this sauce is absolutely completed, what I will do is probably transfer some of this sauce to another container or pot and separate some of this sauce out, because this is a big restaurant pot right here. This pot is huge. But I just want to show you guys. Look at this. Look at these, what these tomatoes are. I don't know, the light is kind of tough. But anyways, this is really, I mean, these are really red tomatoes. Now, I did do some adjustments here off camera. I will link them in the description below. So you have to click on that. I did add some more sheep's milk cheese to it. I did add some more Parmesan cheese to it, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of oregano. Not too much, just a little bit. I do that at that stage before I put the meat in. Now, I do go a little light on the salt as well, because when we put the sausage in, you know, everybody knows sausage has got salt in it, so you don't want to overkill the sauce. Right now, I have this exactly pretty much, you know, like I said, you know, it's not the same all the time, because it's the tomatoes, right, that could have more acidity, not acidity. Now, I'm going to address that too while I'm here, as far as the acidity goes. Do you put sugar in your sauce or do you not? Here's the deal with that. If you ask somebody that's professional about, do you put sugar in your sauce or don't you, here's pretty much how this goes. Okay, I don't think there's really any in between here. The only reason why people put sugar in their sauce is to cut the acidity. If you cook your sauce down like I am right now at a low simmer, and you cook your sauce for an hour and a half, the acidity is gone. There's not going to be any more acidity in it. As far as you can cook this for 3 days. For the most part of it, you're not going to draw any acidity off. Then people use a little pinch of sugar to balance that out if the tomatoes are too acidy, right? Okay, these tomatoes here don't seem to be too acidy for me, so I never put sugar in my sauce. I don't think I've ever done it. What I do is I just cook it longer. I distill it down a little bit further. If I have to go another 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch, that's what I do. I personally don't like a sweet sauce. I love the taste of tomatoes. That's what I want to taste on my pasta. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong if you add sugar. That is the story behind the sugar. So hopefully I put that to rest for a lot of people, or people that might just want to know about that. Okay, so I'm going to let this cook for just a little bit here and make sure all the flavors are blended exactly how I want them. And then I'm going to start adding the meat. I'm going to put some sausage in here, some meatballs in here. The meatballs came out, oh, phenomenal. Okay, so I'm going to let you go for a little bit, and we'll be back. And I'll drop some meat in this, and we'll just simmer this. We'll keep simmering it, and then it'll be done. Okay, so I got my sauce exactly pretty much where I want it. I know it probably cooked a little bit longer or whatever, but for the most part of it, I have this exactly where I need it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start dropping some meat in here. I don't really like to move the meat around. Look at these meatballs. Well, but on these, make a girl want to marry you, right? Or if a girl does this, make a guy want to marry you. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to drop them down on the edge, just like this. Get some of these in here. We don't necessarily have to put them all in, but like I said before, I rolled about 50, not about, it was 50 meatballs right on the money. So we're going to get some of these in here. Now this is actually going to change the flavor of the sauce, right? Because you have all the ingredients in the meatballs that are, that are going to come out. They're going to do their thing. I'll just give this a light stir. Now remember, if you make the meatballs like this, just keep in mind that these meatballs are a little on the softer side, so don't move them around too much. Don't beat them up. Just let them sit in there, absorb the flavor of the sauce. That's the whole idea here, right? Okay, so, all right, I think that's good enough for the meatballs. I don't know how many. I probably put in 40. I think I got 10 more sitting here. Okay, and again, that ring that you see in the pot there, that's not going to hurt nothing. It's not going to give it a bad taste, nothing like that. It's going to be good, okay? So now what we're going to do is we got these beautiful sausages that I made earlier that you guys see me make. We're going to throw some of these in here. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What you want to do is sing, right? And you're going to get a little grease out of the sausage as well. So, okay. Give this a quick stir. All right, I still got plenty of room. Always keep your eye on the bottom of the pot because you don't want it to stick. And it doesn't, this did not stick. None of this stuck. So I'm going to put everything in, right? Just like this. Bada bing. Done. That's what we got. Put that over there. We'll put this over there. Okay, and we'll stir. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Just like that. Okay. So that's it. Sauce and meatballs, right? Make it whenever you want. So we're not done yet with this, but we'll be back. We'll throw a little pasta with this. We'll let this set up overnight. The longer it sits tomorrow is going to be great. It's beautiful right now, but tomorrow you let it sit, cool down, do its thing. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, let me clean up my mess here. Let me get this off. All right. Beautiful. So far, so good. That's what we got so far. Okay. There's probably going to be another segment or so. Maybe some thin spaghetti or whatever. We'll plate up a little sauce and meatballs. And that'll be my recipe. I hope you guys follow this because this is really good stuff. But let this sit, right? Another 2 hours, 3 hours. Let it sit. Let the grease come out from the sausage. Let the flavors come out from the meatballs. Let it get in that sauce. Low temperature, by the way. Keep it on low. Okay, guys. I will see you in a little bit, and we'll plate this up. Okay, guys. So this sauce has now cooked down for approximately 10 hours. Okay, and you can see the consistency of it now opposed to how watery it was before. This is what I'm talking about drawing all the water off of this, okay? So this is what it looks like now. This sauce is done. I let this sit overnight, so it is actually the next day now. All we're going to do now is we got a pot of boiling water over here, and a little bit of pasta for a serving, and we're going to drop some pasta, and as soon as the pasta is done, we are going to have some lunch. Okay, so once again, this is what the pot of sauce and meatballs looks like. I'm loving this recipe because I've done it so many times. So hang in there. It is a long video, I know, but you know, it is what it is for this one here. You got two recipes. You got a sauce recipe, you got a meatball recipe, and this is old school. So that's what we're going to do. Drop some pasta. We'll be back with you as soon as that's done, and we're going to plate this up. Okay, so I'm back, and the pasta is done. I have it already sauced just to save a little bit of time. So what we're going to do now is we're just gonna give this a quick plate, garnish it just a little bit, and that's going to be it. Okay, this is very, very nice. So we're just gonna give it a little plate. So this recipe takes a little bit to make, but I'm telling you, this recipe is the only thing I can do is I hope you guys make it. That's all I can say, because this is like really, really delicious. Okay, so the only other thing that we're gonna do now, and you can't forget it, right? Because that's what this was about, basically, was the sauce and the meatballs. So we got to get the meatballs in there, right? And we're gonna go with like a little bit of a half a link of sweet sausage on the other side, right? Okay, so let me grab a spoon. We're just gonna grab a little bit of sauce like this. Just like that. Okay. Okay, push that aside. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give it just a little bit of, gonna give it a little Parmesan cheese, because, you know, that's what we have to do. And we're gonna just garnish it with a little bit of parsley, just like that. Always gotta make your dishes nice, right? Okay, so that's it, and that's it. Okay, guys, if you guys like this recipe, I'm really hoping that you do. If you guys like this, this is my recipe for sauce and meatballs. If you guys liked it, please subscribe to my channel. I've been getting more subscribers every day, so I appreciate everybody that is subscribing to this. If you like it, share it, hit the like button. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here. Good Italian food, make it. You know, it is what it is. I know what this tastes like. That's why I'm kind of stumped for words. All right, guys. Until the next recipe. Hey, we're gonna have some lasagna coming. We're gonna have some baked ziti coming soon, and that's all made from this recipe. You'll see how I do it. I'll explain that as I go along, like I do in every one of my videos. All right, guys. Until the next video, have a great week, and I will see you Saturday or Sunday with a new recipe. Okay, guys. Take care of yourselves.